Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song Intro 2 from NF's album Therapy Session. I'm musically malnourished. You're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. This is where we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's get in and see what all this song has for us. All right, here we go. On Intro 2, NF aggressively laments his emotions to show his growth as an artist, how he uses music as his therapy, and how he brings real lyrics. The track is the first single and track on NF's sophomore album Therapy Session that released April 22nd. This is a sequel to NF's Intro that was on Mansion. All right. I'm back. Did anyone miss me? They say the second record can be tricky, which, yeah, I mean, goodness gracious. They're all hard. I mean, yes, when you start something, it's like you don't know how it's going to be received. And so then when something is received really well, yeah, the follow-up is challenging. And especially as I think there are different artists that maybe, well, I mean, it exists in the rap space as well, with maybe either the content or the beats that are backing, but especially I think with very heavy instrumentalist type bands and groups, they're so often, and even solo artists, that their sound evolves over time. And that there are some people that pick them up in one record, like, oh, I love this sound, and they aren't really interested in what came before or really what comes after. I enjoy the evolution of artists and kind of following it. And if you really enjoy an artist, just growing with them as they go through these changes, even though you can still have these like favorite albums or favorite sounds or the callbacks to like a time in your life it reminds you of. But I can imagine, man, doing a follow-up would be really challenging. Same within like movies as well, right? They say the second record can be tricky. Well, that's kind of funny because I'm not tripping. My fans, they know what it is and they with me. Yeah, I ain't the type that's going to ride with the semi. I came from a town with 3 lights, ain't no city. Out there doing shows for nothing but pennies. When I leave the stage, they never forget me. Mansion was a glimpse of my life. I let you see what it's like to be in my head. People ask me what I think I'd be doing if it wasn't music. I'd rather be dead. You heard what I said? That was like me at a 3. You don't want to see me at 10. Or maybe you do. I promise if that is the case, then that is what y'all going to get. Okay, I'm interested if he's going to turn it up even further. If you're looking for music with watered down lyrics, I promise you need to go somewhere else. This flow is familiar. I think I heard it before. Oh yeah, I made it myself. I didn't know if this meant there was some connection to a previous song. I created the flow from intro, brought it in intro 2. I created the sound. Okay. Yeah, I thought that might be the case. I left the door open to come in my mansion, but I never said it's a beautiful house. Some of y'all sat on the porch, looked at my windows, and stared at my door. They asked me if I'm going to kill it this record. I laugh in their face and ask, do you see the blood on the floor? He's at it again. NF is crazy. He's bad for the kids. I mean, obviously there are people that can make something out of everything. So I can imagine, I guess, well, not imagine, I know that there are people, even NF as bold as he is about his faith, I'm sure there are Christians out there that just immediately anything rap or that sounds like that, it gets pushed into this negative category, unless you really sit and listen to the contents of what he's saying. But even then, some people would probably be like, and I often think about, you know, some of the heavier songs, like with my children, I don't want to introduce lines of thinking that aren't really in their psyche. You know, I don't want to harp too much on depression or anxiety or abuse or anything like that, because for them at the stage of life they're in, even like my 14-year-old, there's just not a whole lot of that because he's had a very healthy life, you know. He works hard, man, and he's definitely had plenty of challenges. You know, we make sure of that. We don't wrap him in bubble wrap. But as far as like his mother and I, we've created a very stable home for him. There's a lot of love. We eat dinner as a family nearly every single night of the week. And so, you know, but I don't look at it and I'm like, oh, that's just bad for the kids. I think them listening to NF's music is better than a lot of other stuff they could be getting into. But I can see some people probably seeing that and making those judgments. So for me, it's more so just like, all right, let me just make sure that I'm not like causing this like heaviness on them that they're not quite ready for, or, you know, something that they need to be thinking about. He never talks about nothing but him, and my friends say he's kind of a diva. Well, you need to get some new friends. I'm as ill as it gets till I get on the stage and flip on a switch, and I go to a place where nobody is. If you bring up my name in a song, that's something you will regret. Learned a lot in a year. I wonder if anybody was bringing him up. Okay. Very competitive person. Don't talk about something you don't know about. I didn't know if somebody had already mentioned him in a song or something. I remember the shows when no one was there. I remember the shows when nobody cared. 10 people in front of me laughing like he isn't going nowhere. And I saw like, I think a video from him in a high school talent show. I wish there was more of it. It's, you know, maybe it's pretty short. You don't really get the full contents or to see the crowd's reaction when he's done. But it's interesting, again, continuing to hear lines like this, having listened to Fear and the song that he does on Fear when he's like asking, I want to go back to that place. I want to remember that person and how that felt. It's interesting coming across it here. This type of life isn't how I envisioned it. This type of life, it just ain't how I pictured it. I'm in the back of the tour bus trying to FaceTime my family. It's different than what you think it is, for sure. Since NF was a small artist before the original intro and Mansion, he had more time to be with his family, but now that he has a deal with Capitol and is touring, he is having to make time to be with his family using FaceTime, to talk to his family face-to-face over the phone. Not many people would be able to understand the struggle that this is, but Nate does. Yeah, of course, you know, and different things for different seasons, but I could imagine touring the same as like somebody who has to be on the road a lot or gone for long periods of time when you enter a phase of life where you're trying to raise a family and you're pulled between like, well, I don't want to miss out on this moment that could serve my family in the long run, but I also don't want to miss out on raising my children. And so like you caught in this really challenging place. Whereas everybody just thinks, oh my gosh, you get to travel and do all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean, here's one thing, right? You don't want to miss the gratitude for being able to do something that you absolutely love, but it doesn't discount that there are challenges that come along with that. Write a review. Tell me what you think of this. Give me 3 stars and call me an idiot. But to be honest, it don't make a difference. I know some people don't get it, but you have now entered a therapy session. If you don't like music, that's personal. I have no clue what you people are doing here. Might as well throw out the record or pull up a chair. I talk to my music like nobody's there. That's a cool line. Only person I judge is the one in the mirror. This line, or pull up a chair, I talk to my music like nobody's there, kind of reminds me of, I think it was Notebook. Again, because the song centers on him speaking to his notebook as if it's one of his best friends. But even this, you could tell like his music is so deeply personal and deeply vulnerable, which I think is part of what's caused it to resonate so well. Only person I judge is the one in the mirror, and lately he ain't doing well. I don't need y'all in my ear. I'm tired of hearing it. You call it music, I call her my therapist, so the music personified as his therapist. She keep on telling me I've been carrying way too much baggage, I need to take care of it. I know she's right, but man, it's embarrassing. Music has raised me more than my parents did, which I know he did have a challenging past. How Could You Leave Us, talking about the death of his mom, is one of NF's most popular tracks. The music video has generated nearly 5 million views as of this song's release. On the track, NF poured out his struggles to forgive his mother, who died to an addiction to pills when he was a child. Growing up in a broken home, music can be what gets you through life, finding strength through song instead of searching for reassurance from others. Take out a picture of us and I stare at it. Who am I kidding? You probably ain't hearing this. Show me an artist you want to compare me with. You put us both on a track, I'ma bury him. Give me the shovel, it's about to get scarier. None of you want, gosh, there's so much here. None of you want it with rap. Who you staring at? I see you got beats, but where are the lyrics at? So yeah, again, he's continuing to just push on this idea that he has lyrics that really matter. And not only lyrics that matter, like he's an incredible wordsmith, like his wordplay, his flow, all of that. So it's not just like he's just got lyrics and no skill to match it. He's got both. NF is the logo. You know I've been wearing that. Don't come to my show and be sitting. That's very bad. I call you out in the crowd like, there he is. Thought I'd be happy. It feels like hey man, my legs are just tired, okay? Been standing all day. I want to come enjoy your music, but I want to sit down. Thought I'd be happy. It feels like I'm cursed. It's hard to be clean when you play in the dirt. You gave me this place to go when I'm hurting. I thought I'd get better, but it's getting worse. A lot of the things I thought would bring me joy don't. What I've realized is when you reach a goal, you just set new ones. I'm trying to deal with that as a person. Yeah, right? It's like this in a relentless pursuit of satisfaction. And that's a challenging place. Like, how do you stay motivated and set goals and yet be content at the same time? But I think that that's really the place of unlocking peace in many ways. Like content, but not satisfied, if that makes sense. I think that's much the way we're called to be in our relationship with the Lord, right? Content in where we're at, what we know of him, that he's holding us, and but not satisfied in the sense that we want to keep searching, we want to keep knowing, we want to keep revealing who he is. Hard to be clean when you play in the dirt. I wonder if that just has to do with like kind of being on the road and maybe some of the environments he's finding himself in, even in the industry. I got nobody to blame when I work. Like 24/7, I ain't been to church. And Satan keep calling me, he trying to flirt. I hang up the phone. These are more than just words. Okay, Satan's calling me, but I hang up the phone. These are more than just words. That's interesting because I wonder if he's actually trying to call out, because gosh, you got to imagine it's crazy. It is like you could be an artist that is bold about your faith in Jesus and reaching, obviously he's reaching much more than he's reaching people that would not consider themselves Christians. And I think that's wonderful. But even people that would claim to be Christians that know who he is and that know he has a family, may still be hitting him up in the DMs. And that's really unfortunate, or trying to call him, or all kinds of things. And so I wonder if even that line, Satan keep calling me, trying to flirt, to hang up the phone. These are more than just words. That can either just speak to like the reality of the temptation that he faces, or like a real situation in which somebody has been trying to call him. Somebody's been trying to message him, flirt with him. And that he's just like, I just hang up the phone. And that's the story of Joseph in Genesis. Won't go through the whole story, but lots of things happen to him that he didn't necessarily deserve. And he ends up serving as a slave in a man named Potiphar's house in Egypt. And Potiphar's wife takes notice of Joseph and several times like tries to sleep with him, like lure him into sleeping with her. And then one time she like grabs him and it says that he left, and she was holding his clothing, because he was just like, I'm not, like, God's been good to me, your husband's been good to me, why would I sin against them? And he just takes off. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of what you have to do with temptation sometimes. Like, you just got to head out the door, hang up the phone. You don't want to be around flirting with it. I drive on that highway and listen to Mansion. I look up to God like, when did this happen? Yelling with all of my fans to wake up, which is a callback to a song. NF song, Wake Up, which is about being aware of your mistakes and owning them. This contradicts the feeling NF had while writing the song. In an interview, NF said, when I talk about struggling with someone on the next record, I might talk about how I used to struggle with it. Here's how I got through it and explain it. I get emotional. I didn't plan this. I'm doing things I never imagined. I'm sorry, but I got to leave. I don't want to be late for my therapy session. Such a great line, right? Because the album is therapy session. So he's like, it's time to get into the new album, but I needed to get this off my chest first. Man, NF's lyrics are always compelling. So I'm looking forward to what's ahead. Thanks for joining me for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.